A man sits in a doctor's office. He has been completely blind for years, his visual cortex, destroyed. The doctor holds up a ball and throws it at him. He catches it. He didn't see it coming. He couldn't. He was blind. And yet, something in his brain reached out, tracked that object through space, and moved his hand to meet it. No vision. No awareness. No explanation. How? That question is about to change everything you think you know about seeing, and about your own mind. You're watching this video right now. Light is entering your eyes, hitting your retina, converting into electrical signals, and being interpreted somewhere deep inside a 1.4 kilogram mass of fat and protein inside your skull. And you believe, completely, confidently, that you are seeing it. That there is a you sitting behind your eyes, watching the world like a movie. But what if that belief is wrong? What if seeing and being aware that you're seeing are two completely separate things, two different systems, running in parallel, and you only know about one of them? Over the last 50 years, neuroscientists have uncovered a series of discoveries so strange, so counterintuitive, that they have forced an almost complete rethinking of what vision actually is, what consciousness is, and what it means to be aware at all. Today we're going on a journey through 6 of the most mind-bending phenomena in all of science: Blindsight, Inattentional Blindness, Change Blindness, Anton Syndrome, Split Brain Research, and the hard problem of consciousness. By the end of this video, you'll never look at anything the same way again. And I mean that literally. Let's go back to that man who caught the ball. His name, in the scientific literature, is G.Y., a British man who suffered a stroke at age 8 that destroyed most of his primary visual cortex, the area called V1. V1 is the first stop in the brain for visual information. Destroy it, and you go blind. G.Y. was blind. He reported absolutely no visual experience. Darkness. Nothing. But here's what the researchers discovered. When objects were presented in G.Y.'s blind visual field, things he could not consciously see, he could still accurately point to where they were. He could detect motion. He could even distinguish emotional expressions on faces. Not always perfectly. But far above chance. Far beyond what a truly, completely blind person should be able to do. G.Y. himself found this deeply unsettling. When asked how he knew where to point, he would say things like, "I just guessed," or "It felt like nothing." There was no experience. No sense of seeing. And yet, something new. This phenomenon was named Blindsight by the British neurologist Lawrence Weisskranz in the 1970s. And it revealed something astonishing. V1, the primary visual cortex, is not the only way visual information gets processed in the brain. There is a second, older, evolutionarily ancient visual pathway that runs from the eye to a structure called the superior colliculus, deep in the brainstem. This pathway doesn't produce conscious vision, it has no experience attached to it. But it can guide movement, detect threats, respond to faces. It's the visual system you share with a lizard, a fish, a frog. You are not just one visual system, you are at least 2. And only one of them talks to your conscious mind. In 1992, neuroscientists Mel Goodale and David Milner published one of the most important papers in the history of vision science. They proposed that there are not just 2 visual pathways deep in the brainstem, there are 2 streams running all the way through the cortex. The ventral stream, sometimes called the what pathway, runs from the visual cortex down into the temporal lobe. This is the system that identifies objects, recognizes faces, gives you the experience of seeing. When you look at an apple and think that's an apple, that's your ventral stream. The dorsal stream, the where or how pathway, runs upward from the visual cortex into the parietal lobe. This system doesn't care about what things are. It only cares about where they are and how to interact with them. Grab, dodge, catch. This system operates largely without conscious awareness. The evidence? A patient called DF. She suffered brain damage that destroyed her ventral stream. If you showed DF a pencil, she couldn't tell you its orientation. She couldn't tell you how wide the slot was when you held up a letterbox. She literally could not see shapes as shapes. But if you asked her to post a letter through that slot, she did it perfectly. Her hand automatically rotated to match the angle, without her knowing how, without any conscious visual experience of the angle at all. Her what system was destroyed. Her how system was intact. And they ran completely independently of each other. This means that right now, As you reach for your coffee cup, your brain is using a visual system that has no direct line to your awareness. It's calculating angles, distances, grip widths, and you will never be consciously aware of any of it. Your hand just arrives. In 1999, psychologists Daniel Simons and Christopher Chabris ran an experiment that became one of the most famous in all of psychology. They showed participants a video of two groups of people, one in white shirts, one in black, passing basketballs, and asked them to count the number of passes made by the white team. Halfway through the video, a person in a full gorilla suit walked into the middle of the scene, faced the camera, beat their chest, and walked off. Approximately 50% of participants, people with perfectly normal vision, watching the video intently, never saw the gorilla at all. When told about it and shown the video again, many refused to believe it was the same video. They were certain they would have noticed. They were certain it hadn't been there the first time. This is inattentional blindness. And it reveals something disturbing. Your visual system doesn't record everything in your visual field. It selects. Consciousness isn't a camera, it's an editor. The information about the gorilla entered your eyes. It hit the retina. It sent signals down the optic nerve. It may even have been processed in early visual areas of the brain. But it never made it to conscious awareness, because your attention was locked elsewhere. The implications of this are staggering. Eyewitness testimony, a cornerstone of the legal system, is built on the assumption that people see what's in front of them. They don't. You can be looking directly at something, in full consciousness, in bright daylight, and simply not see it at all. Let's take this even further. In a remarkable study, a researcher approached people on a university campus, stopped them to ask for directions, and while they were talking, two workers carrying a large door walked between them, and during the brief interruption, the researcher was swapped out for a completely different person. More than 50% of the participants didn't notice the switch. They continued giving directions to a stranger they had never seen before, completely unaware that the person they started talking to had been replaced. This is change blindness, and it operates even when there is no gorilla, no distraction, no complex task. Just the interruption of a brief visual disruption, and your brain fills in the gaps with whatever it expects to find. Here's why this happens. Your brain doesn't actually store a continuous, high-resolution record of what you see. That would require enormous energy and computational power. Instead, it stores a sketch, a compressed, prediction-based model of the world, and it only updates that model when something signals that an update is needed. Normally, this works brilliantly, efficiently. It's why you can navigate familiar environments on autopilot, why reading feels effortless, why you don't get overwhelmed by the trillion bits of sensory data hitting you every second. But the cost is this: your experience of a rich, continuous, detailed visual world. That experience is largely a construction, a prediction, an informed hallucination. The reality entering your eyes and the reality reaching your awareness are not the same thing. If you think blindsight is strange, consider its mirror image. A condition called Anton syndrome, or visual anosognosia. Patients with Anton syndrome have suffered damage to their visual cortex that has rendered them completely, cortically blind. No visual input reaches conscious awareness. They are blind by any neurological measure. But they insist they can see. Ask them what color your shirt is, and they'll tell you, confabulating a confident answer. Ask them to walk across a room, and they'll walk into the furniture and insist it's not there, or that someone moved it. They construct an elaborate, confident, entirely fictional visual world, and believe in it completely. The brain, deprived of visual input, doesn't conclude, "I must be blind." It does something far stranger. It fills the void with fabrications, with predictions, with confabulations so convincing that the patient has no insight into their own blindness. Anton syndrome tells us something deeply unsettling. Consciousness doesn't just reflect reality. It can fabricate it, completely, confidently, and without your knowledge. If your brain can construct an entire false visual world that feels completely real, what else might it be constructing? Here's a question that makes the hard problem viscerally real: does a camera see? A modern camera captures more photons per second than the human eye. An AI image classifier can distinguish between a golden retriever and a Labrador with greater accuracy than most humans. Google's Vision AI processes visual information faster and with more detail than you ever could. And yet, is there anything it's like to be that camera? Is there an experience happening inside the image classifier? Is there a redness to the red pixels it processes? Most people's intuition says no. And if that intuition is correct, then there is something special happening in the biological brain that isn't captured by the processing alone. Some additional ingredient, some property of biological neural circuits, or of the particular way information is integrated, that produces awareness where a camera produces only data. Or, and this is the uncomfortable alternative, maybe there is something it's like to be a camera. Maybe any system that processes information has some infinitesimal flicker of experience. Maybe awareness is not a binary switch, off in cameras, on in humans, but a spectrum, a continuum. This view is called panpsychism, and it is currently one of the most seriously debated theories in philosophy of mind. We genuinely don't know, and the uncertainty is the point. Everything we've discussed so far has been about vision and awareness separating. But what about the opposite? What about moments when awareness seems to expand beyond its usual limits? Long-term meditators describe experiences of open monitoring, a state in which attention is not focused on any particular object, but is diffused across the entire sensory field. People in deep flow states, athletes, musicians, surgeons mid-operation, often report a paradox: their performance is at its peak, but their self-awareness seems to shrink or disappear. Neuroscience has found correlates of this. In deep meditation, the default mode network, the brain's self-referential chatter system, goes quiet. In flow states, prefrontal activity decreases in a phenomenon researchers call transient hypofrontality. In these states, vision doesn't change. The eyes still send the same signals, but the relationship between visual processing and conscious awareness shifts in ways that are only beginning to be understood. The editor steps back. More of what is actually happening in the visual system seems to become available. So what do all of these phenomena, blindsight, inattentional blindness, change blindness, Anton syndrome, split brain, the heart problem, what do they add up to? They add up to this: the visual experience you have right now, the continuous, stable, richly detailed world you feel yourself inhabiting, is not a recording of reality. It is a construction, a model, a story your brain tells about incoming data, shaped by attention, expectation, evolution, emotion, and an ancient neural architecture that was running long before anything like you ever appeared on the scene. There are visual systems in your brain that process the world with no experience at all. There are gaps in your awareness so large you could walk a gorilla through them. There are moments when your brain invents entire sensory realities wholesale. And then, somehow, in the midst of all that, there is this moment, this experience, this awareness, watching itself watch. We don't know how that happens. We don't know why it's there at all. But whatever it is the most extraordinary thing in the known universe. Remember that man who caught the ball? He never saw it coming. Something ancient and unconscious in his brain reached out across the dark, and found it anyway. You carry that same ancient system, right behind your eyes, running in silence. What else is it seeing, that you'll never know about? If this video made you see differently, subscribe, and I'll see you, or something like it, next time.